So excited that you're here. And Handmade Beauty Box Live viewers, welcome to our live stream. I am so excited to show you this project today. First of all, if you're a Handmade Beauty Box subscriber, you may have noticed that you got a different box this month than you normally did. It's a little bit smaller, but guess what? Courtney and I and Haley hand painted every single one of your December boxes for you. That's right, we hand painted them. So I hope when you got it, you were like, yes, I like it. Our project for last month was how to make mineral eyeshadow. That's right, the same mineral eyeshadow that you find in department stores for between $16 and $20, all natural, makes beautiful neutral colors. This particular project is completely economical, and you can make a full 10 different recipes out of what you got in your Handmade Beauty Box box. You can make custom hues. It is super, super fun. And by the way, if you haven't been to handmadebeautybox.com recently, Handmade Beauty Box has a really active blog. And this month, we're doing a contest on the blog. That's right, we're doing a contest. All you need to do is comment on the blog post or do a social share, meaning write on Twitter, I loved my box, and tag at Handmade Beauty Box or something like that, so we see that you did a social share. And you could enter to, by doing that, that enters you to win a project, enters you to win a gift card towards renewal, or a goodie bag of soap and Handmade Beauty Box products. And if you're lucky, one of those products might be our October box product that was made, which was, in case anybody didn't get it, if you're a new subscriber, it was how to make an exfoliating salt scrub. And I just used it again this week, and oh, it's an amazing box. In fact, we only have 7 of the October boxes left. So if you want to learn how to make salt scrubs, you can completely pick up one of the last 7 boxes and use this coupon to get 15% off. That's Periscope 16 to get 15% off the single box or any of the singles boxes. And Courtney, does this go for new subscribers as well?
Heck yeah.
If you're a new subscriber, you can use this to save money on your subscription as well. Let's get into what the December box had. So we had a full 1.5 grams of gold sparkle mica. So they're in here: gold sparkle mica, copper sparkle mica, merlot mica, honey beige mica, cappuccino mica, patina sheen mica. You also got 1/2 ounce of cerussite and 1/2 ounce of titanium dioxide. And let's talk about that cerussite. That cerussite, it's kind of got like a scary chemically sounding name. Cerussite is actually just a product that's mined from the earth. It's like a natural mineral, and it's perfectly safe to use. And in fact, what we use it for is the base that goes into your eyeshadow to make sure that your eyeshadow is really easily spreadable. In addition to that, you've got eyeshadow brushes, mini scoops. These really help with mixing. Eyeshadow pots and labels. And you can also check the blog for extra labels. So these are the adorable labels that came with your kit in lots of different colors. And also on the handmadebeautybox.com blog, there was an extra free downloadable sheet of labels for you as well, so you could really mix up your colors. What you're going to need from home: you are going to need some sort of small mixing bowl or a mug. You're going to need a spoon, a metal spoon, and optional for larger batches is like a coffee grinder or a spice grinder to really micronize up your eyeshadow, and then a paper towel for cleanup. So if you're just joining me on either the live stream or on Periscope, my name's Anne-Marie. I'm from handmadebeautybox.com, and I'm here to show you how to make mineral eyeshadow with your December Handmade Beauty Box box. And if you're brand new and you didn't get your December box because you're not a subscriber yet, you can buy the singles, so just one box at handmadebeautybox.com. So Courtney, are we ready to get started? Are there any questions before we get started? Oh, Haley's raising her hand. Periscope has a question.
Yeah, somebody asked if it would be better to use these shadows with a brush or their finger.
Can you use these shadows with a brush or your finger? So first of all, these are just like the mineral eyeshadows that you're going to buy online or at Sephora or at beauty.com. And so you could use your finger. It's a lot harder to apply if you're using a finger versus using a brush. So I really recommend a high quality brush, because if you want to get the best results out of your eyeshadow, using high quality tools is one of the best ways to make sure you're precise when you're putting on your eyeshadow. So I would go with a brush. Of course, you can use your finger if that's all you have around. So let's go ahead and get started. One, we are first going to make the base. So in order to make the base, I'm going to move all of my stuff off right here. These are my high quality eyeshadow instructions that came with all of the Handmade beauty boxes this month, including lots of different recipes. There are a full 10 recipes here so that you can see all these different suggestions. And look at all the colors you can make. I love them because they're beautiful neutral colors. To make the base, it's just 8 mini scoops of titanium dioxide and 5 mini scoops of ceramide. The reason we use a base is to cut down on the amount of color that's actually going onto your eye. And so when you're like, well, why would I want to cut down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you're like, why would I want to cut down on the amount of color that's going on my eye? Well, honestly, if you have really bright color on your eye, sometimes can show a little bit more shadow, can sometimes show a little bit more creasing, and can sometimes look like your 1982 blue called and wants a visit from you. So this way we're cutting down on the amount of pigment that's going directly onto the eye, making a more neutral color that's more appropriate for daytime wear. By all means, if you really wanted to glam it up, I've got some tips and tricks later on that I'll show you on how to really make these colors pop. So you want to mix your titanium dioxide and your ceramide. The reason we're mixing so well is because we want to get all those clumps out. And again, if you're making a larger batch of your base, you absolutely should use a coffee grinder, a clean coffee grinder, or a spice grinder to make these any sort of clumps go away. So I'm just going to mix up those clumps. And our titanium dioxide gives the eyeshadow a more opaque look as opposed to sheer. So that's how you're really getting your good coverage. And the ceramide ensures that your eyeshadows go on very streak-free. So now I'm going to go ahead and make one color to show you how easy it is to make your eyeshadow color. We're going to go with colored mica, and in this case we're going to go with 0.5 ounces of copper, 0.5 ounces of cappuccino scoops, and 3 scoops of Patina Sheen. And then, Courtney, do you have some pictures that you can show everyone that's watching on our live stream? So we're going to go with 5 scoops of this mineral oxide colored mica, and this is called cappuccino. And then we're going to move on to our Patina Sheen. And this Patina Sheen, I know it looks a little scary, but it really does add a nice depth to the eyeshadow, but we're only doing 3 scoops of that. And then I'm going to go find my copper mica that came in my Handmade beauty box for the December box. Wow, that has so much gorgeous shine in it. And I'm going to do 5 mini scoops of this. And then again, remember, if you got your Handmade beauty box for December, all of these recipes are there. And if you're watching this and you're like, but I didn't get a Handmade beauty box for December, not to worry, there are still 25 of them left on the Handmade Beauty Box singles page. So you can go to handmadebeautybox.com, use your code Periscope16 to save 15% off the box for this month. So we just mix until the white clumps are fully incorporated. And you can use this like I'm doing. You can move on and use a spoon, or you can use a whisk. In this case, I'm just going to use a spoon. I'm just going to break up any clumps that are happening. And again, if you're going to make this into a larger batch, like say you want to make 25 at a time, you would want to be mixing this using a spice grinder or any sort of coffee grinder to ensure that all the clumps were gone. Because those titanium dioxide clumps, those colorant clumps, like if you put them on and there's a clump and it kind of bursts on your skin, you'll see a blip of pigment, and that's not what anybody wants. So here we have our beautiful colorant, and I'm just going to test a little bit on my hand. So here goes nothing. Now grab a little one of these eyeshadow applicators that came with the Handmade Beauty Box. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. Handmade Beauty Box this month, and just applying it onto my hand to see how this would look on my hand. I think it looks gorgeous. Periscope viewers, what do you guys think? Like it? Yeah, I like it too. It looks fantastic. And then if I want to change this color up at all, I can add more of any color. Like say I'm like, I want some more sparkle. I could add more copper to get more sparkle. Or say I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. I could add a little bit more titanium dioxide to lighten this up. Really, you are just doing color mixing and mixing different colors to get what you want for the hue and the shade for your mineral makeup. That's one of the reasons I really like making my own eyeshadow, is because I can mix and I can match colors and shades to get exactly what looks best on me and my skin tone. Obviously, I have a very rosy, kind of fair complexion, and so I love being able to make my own really light beige, light shimmer. I don't do sparkle really well, and that's why I like making eyeshadow from scratch. Plus it saves me a fortune, because again, if I'm buying this at one of the really top mineral makeup brands, I am paying $16 per color of eyeshadow. So it saves me a lot of money to make my own. So to use this, it's super simple. You just dip the brush into the loose powder, you tap off the excess powder, and then you apply to the lid in kind of a, like a normal eyeshadow. So kind of like a patting motion to get it on there. You can mix and match the shades using lighter colors on the inside of your eyelids to get closer to your nose, and then darker colors on the outside of your eyelids. Now, oh, do we have a question? Yes. Courtney is raising her hand. Hi.
Are all micas eye safe?
Are all micas eye safe? Wow, that is a great question. No, all micas are not created equal. Not all of them are eye safe. It's really important that if you're buying micas from any sort of vendor, whether it's a local craft store or whether it's a beauty supply store online, that you make sure that the mica is eye safe. And the reason it would be eye safe or not is based on how it's made. Does it use eye safe ingredients? And also how it's been purified. The FDA is really stringent about colors and batch certifications, and they have different grades of colorants. And so you do not want some sort of industrial colorant that would be used for, say, rubber stamping on your eyes. You only want to use eye safe mica. Of course, all of the micas that came in your Handmade Beauty Box this month are definitely 100% eye safe. That's a great question, because safety first, of course. Any other questions before I show everyone how to foil? This is...
To piggyback off of that, what about lip safe?
Oh, what about lip safe? Yeah, it's a great question. So similar to the answer for if your mica is eyeshadow safe, the FDA is pretty serious about what it puts on lips. So for example, if it's going to go on your lips, it needs to be something that can be ingested. And so there's a whole nother layer of safety for lip products. And in your December box, like say you're like, I really want to make lipstick out of some of these colors because they're really pretty. The only one that you got that wasn't approved for use on lips is your honeyed beige mica. All the others are approved for use on lips. Any other questions before all right, I'm going to show you a really fun technique. Courtney, do you have any pictures of foiling that we can show at all?
We have a throwback.
Oh, we have a throwback. Nice. I like it. So, foiling is this concept where you take a little bit of water and you take your makeup brush and you just dip it in the water, and then you dip it into the color, and that helps to make the color really stand out. So in this case, we're getting a really bold beige color. Let's check and see what happens when we do it with this color here. I think I'm going to do another couple of layers because that came out a little bit watery. So what it does is it really creates much more of almost like a liner, because that would be a great liner color. And it really helps to make the color stand out on the skin. So here we have two different examples of foiling, and you can see a couple of them would be much, like that would be obviously much better for night, and this would be a lot better for daytime wear. And so you dip your makeup brush in a little water, dip the moist brush in the eyeshadow, and then paint the wet eyeshadow onto the upper eyelid. Make sure you're testing this on your hand before you're putting it on your skin, of course, because we don't want to make you look more dramatic than you really want. But be sure and look down until your eye foiling dries, so you don't get the eyeshadow where you don't want it. This will be really fun for like a black cat eye look. So if you were going to do black cat eyes, that would be really fun to do foiling with. Or if you really wanted to go all out and be a mermaid for Halloween, you could make your own blue or green eyeshadow and just foil it up there and really stand out. So that is one of the techniques I love to making any eyeshadow, but it's definitely the homemade mineral eyeshadow go a lot further. Is there any questions before I get moving on to the next one? Yes.
I have one. Is it hard to take the makeup off?
Oh, is it hard to take this makeup off? Not at all. It's like any eyeshadow. And if you foiled it, it's a little bit more kind of solid, but just use a normal cleanser and a little bit of water. I actually use coconut oil to take my eye makeup off, interestingly enough. It's almost like a more pure kind of Pond's or cold cream that my grandma used to use concept. Yes, Courtney?
Are there any substitutes for cerussite?
Are there any substitutes for cerussite? Absolutely. You can use kaolin clay as a base. Now, I just want to mention something about kaolin clay, though. Kaolin clay is often used for pottery or sculpting projects. That's not the kaolin clay you want to use. You really want to make sure that the kaolin clay you're using has been tested for heavy metals and is considered cosmetic grade. That's a whole nother level of purification because, of course, anything we're putting on our skin, we want to make sure it's totally safe and approved for use on skin. So if you don't want to use the cerussite, which despite the scary name is 100% natural, you could use kaolin clay. Because remember, our base is really just to kind of break up that pure color, because I don't know about you, but this color, this is the oxide, or this is the copper color, that directly on my hand, that's a little bright for daytime wear. I'm really not loving that look for daytime wear. Might be fine if I was going to go, say, to, I don't know, a club or something, but for daytime wear, that is intense, and that's why we use the cerussite and the titanium dioxide to kind of break up that really bright look. Like that's a lot. Haley's raising her hand. So you have a question from Periscope viewer?
Yeah, can you use these mica colors in soap?
Oh, that's a great question. Can you use these mica colors in soap? Absolutely. So the way micas work is they are mined from the earth, and then mica is kind of like a diamond, and in it reflects and refracts once it's been cut and shaped, similar to a diamond. So it comes out sort of dull and then ends up really turning into something of beauty after it's been cut into small little prisms. Mica gets its colorant when it's coated with either an oxide or an FD&C colorant. And so in this case, all of these micas have been coated only with oxides, which are considered a nature identical natural product. And these all can be used in soap. So if you're not using these Handmade Beauty Box micas in your soap, you just want to make sure that the mica you have is fully cosmetic grade. Additionally, of course, all the colorants you got in your December Handmade Beauty Box are fully soap safe. You totally can use them in soap. One note, if you're watching me on Periscope or you're watching me on the Handmade Beauty Box stream, it definitely is something to keep in mind that mica needs light in order to reflect and refract. So if you're making soap and your soap is white, you know what's going to happen to the mica? It's really going to lose a lot of its shimmerability. Like this gorgeous copper color here, you're not going to see that really in white soap. So cold process soap makers, you want to keep that in mind when you're considering what kind of color to use in your soap. So before I move on and show you guys how to make a solid eyeshadow, are there any questions? Any more? Okay, great. Can someone grab me a little towel so I can clean off my hand? Thank you. Would really appreciate that. So Courtney, why don't you go ahead and move the camera? We'll take it down here. And I am going to show everyone how to make a solid paste. Thank you very much. But before I do that, I'm just going to clean off my hand a little bit. Get some of this eyeshadow off. Oh no, I'm just going to smear it. Just going to smear it. Okay, just gave myself a nice bronzer. It's gorgeous. Moving on. So to make a solid eyeshadow, it's really easy to do. All you do is you use a dropper and you add 30, make sure that's rubbing alcohol, add 30 to 50 drops of rubbing alcohol to your eyeshadow. So notice that this eyeshadow is really, it's a full serving of eyeshadow. My little pot is just about halfway filled up, and I'm going to add 1 milliliter of alcohol to it. That equals about 30 to 50 drops. And then all I need to do is mix that into a really thick paste. And you can glop this into your lid or into an empty eyeshadow pan, or put it into another container with a small spoon. And when you're mixing, just make sure that you just kind of keep mixing and seeing if you need any more rubbing alcohol. Depending on how much titanium dioxide or cerussite is in it, you may need more or less rubbing alcohol, because the cerussite and the titanium dioxide really kind of act like a clay, and they absorb a lot of extra liquids. And so in this case, I needed a little bit more than the 30 drops. So I went all the way up to 50 drops. And so here we go. It's getting to be a really nice paste. And then you can either leave it in here or you can put it into another container and just leave it overnight and let that paste dry overnight. And so here we have our paste. And I want to show you some of the ones that I did ahead of time so you can kind of see what a couple of the different ideas that we had for colorant options look like. So this is the honey beige after it's been sitting. And I'm going to just put a little bit, let's see, we'll just try a little bit on my hand. So that's the honey beige. And I think it looks really nice. It's a nice subtle color. It's definitely one that I would wear at work. And then here is our gold sparkle mixed with Merlot. So this is an interesting color. And you notice it has a different hue on it. I love it. It's soft and really rosy. I think it kind of be perfect for weddings. This is Patina Sheen, so kind of a green color and Merlot together. And that one is just a little bit darker, and you can see it doesn't have quite as much shimmer as the previous one, which was that gold sparkle. And then finally, this is honey beige and cappuccino. And so these ones are ones that I did make into solid eyeshadows. And there we go. So those are my colors that I just made into solid eyeshadows right before this started. So you could kind of see the different colorant options that you can get with this kit. Again, you have so many options for how to craft your mineral makeup with the Handmade Beauty Box kits. And there's, again, over 10 different color combinations that we suggested in our recipes, but then there's also quite a few more that you can come up with yourself. For example, you can make a blush or you can make a highlighter. For like a highlighter, you would try probably mixing and a highlighter, remember, is going on your cheekbones. And you mix like a honey beige with it, or perhaps copper. And for a blush, you could really do a honey beige and a Merlot. Like this looks like it could be a really nice blush. And for more recipes, you can definitely find more recipes on the handmadebeautybox.com blog. Before I get going, are there any other questions that came in?
We have one more.
Mm-hmm.
How long will these eyeshadows last?
Oh, that's a great question. So these eyeshadows are basically dry powders, and they will pretty much last indefinitely. Like any makeup product, I really do recommend using it within 1 year though, because you never know what kind of microbes are lurking in your bathroom that might hop in and give you a little bit of trouble. And again, with your eyes, you never, ever, ever want to take anything for granted. So I would say, honestly, they do last indefinitely, but I would try and use them up within a year. Yes?
And wearing them, how long do they last?
Oh, wearing them, how long do they last? They last like any normal eyeshadow. They should last you all day long. And if you're finding that they're creasing, it's because your eyes are producing a little bit of oil up there. And so you can either use a base, so you can make yourself kind of a primer base using the cerussite or the titanium dioxide before you put on your eyeshadow, or you could just add a little teensy bit more cerussite to your powder to make it more of a dry powder as opposed which really will help to absorb that oil, because that cerussite it does act like a clay and it will absorb that oil. Again, if you didn't see the beginning, here is our Periscope coupon. So there's 15% off for all the Handmade Beauty Box viewers and Periscope viewers on any of the single boxes or any new subscriptions. And again, my current favorite box that only has 7 more boxes is the October box, which was our breast cancer awareness box. Because of you guys, we were able to donate $10,000 to Project Violet at the Fred Hutch Center. So thank you for that. Again, there's only 7 of those boxes left, and it really was my favorite box of the year. You learned how to make salt scrubs in that box, and the formulation is really, really fantastic. I just used it 2 nights ago. It was really fantastic. Are there any other questions before I get going? I see Haley and Courtney are talking a little bit. Okay. Well, in that case, you guys, I really am hoping to see you on the blog, right? Remember, we have a Handmade Beauty Box contest that's going on the Handmade Beauty Box blog, which is at handmadebeautybox.com. Click on the blog. You can win a project. You can win a gift card towards your renewal, or just a goodie bag of handmade soaps and handmade beauty products that are made by me. And a social share will also do it. And when you guys are making your eyeshadows or making any of your previous boxes, be sure to tag us on all the different social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, with hashtag HBB Show and Tell, because I love to see what you guys create. Nothing brings me more joy than seeing the ideas that I have really come to life in your hands. It makes me super excited and super happy, and I love interacting with you. So please hashtag your creations, show me what you're making, and until next month, everyone, happy crafting.